Welcome or welcome back. My name is Tab and I love to talk about books. For this video, I am going to be reading Kindle Unlimited books. I have so many books on Kindle Unlimited that I need to power through, and so many new releases that came out in May that I cannot wait to read. The first book I'm going to pick up for this video is Charmed and Alarmed by Cleo White. And this is the third and I believe last book in the Daddy Issue series. And they're all novellas. They are forbidden age gap romances and I am here for it. This follows Lenny and Holden and it is a workplace romance. So I'm going to read this all today, and I will be back a little bit later to update on what I thought about the book. I cannot wait to read this, but I'm also sad that it's going to be done. These are so steamy and so good. They're like addictive. If you love age gap forbidden romances, then just start from the beginning of this series. All three books combined are probably under 600 pages for sure, probably under 500 pages. The first book is Chilled and Thrilled, then Kissed and Missed, and now Charmed and Alarmed. You won't be disappointed. Finishing Charmed and Alarmed by Cleo White, and this book delivered on everything that I was hoping to get from it. I rated it 4 stars and it was 5 for spice. Listen, this book was half spicy chapters, but they were done so good. Oh my God, I love this book. So this is a steamy, forbidden age gap romance. Dad's best friend in the workplace. He is pierced 3 times. And this is definitely low angst. And when I say that, I just mean like there's not a lot of conflict between the other people. There's not really much miscommunication. It's very easy to digest and binge. There's not problem after problem or conflict after conflict. So that I really appreciate when I'm reading romance books. So Holden is 40, Lenora is 22. After an injury that left Lenny depressed and wallowing, her dad gives her a job at the architect firm, which happens to be co-owned with Holden. The only problem, besides it being boring as hell, is she is placed on Holden's team as like his executive assistant. And after their chance encounter 6 months ago, she isn't sure how copacetic it's going to be in the office. And let me just get back to Holden is pierced times 3. Like, ouch, ouch, ouch. Cleo White does a great job explaining the need for 3 piercings and which one does what. But I can't imagine how that does not hurt with just the force and the friction and the pressure. I can't imagine. And like the actual piercing, like the act of piercing. How? I don't know. I can't really dwell on it because then I'm just going to go off the deep end. What I enjoyed also about this book is it brought in the 4 other characters from books 1 and books 2, and they still hang out. I mean, granted, all 3 of these books are based on the Vogel family, the dad, Bram, the other daughter, Honor, and this daughter, Lenny. So this is what the whole series is about. You could definitely read this though as a standalone if you didn't read the first 2 or you're not sure if you're going to like it, but I highly suggest reading the first 2 because I loved them just as much, and they're all quick reads. I believe they're all under 200 pages. I don't mean quick reads like you can read them right away. I just mean like it's a low stakes spicy romance that just you keep wanting to turn the pages. It was great to see Lenny change and grow. She was very upset and depressed at the beginning of the book because her career that she has always wanted was just poof, gone, vanished. And she's trying to figure out what to do. She doesn't have her own place to live. She's kind of floundering because her only plan A, now has crumbled, and she did not have any plan B. So she has a cane she has to walk around with. She's had multiple surgeries, and now she feels like she's a charity case for her dad because he's just trying to find her a job because he feels bad for her. What also was interesting is Lenny and Holden did not want children. And if that's something that you're like looking for at the end of the book, it doesn't happen. And it was really kind of refreshing because usually I enjoy the ending, especially in like an epilogue, that they're married, they have kids. But for whatever reason, Lenny and Holden did not seem like having children would create their perfect ending in my head. And I haven't, felt that before. I don't know what that says of what I thought about the characters, but it was really refreshing. There is a 2-year epilogue and it was perfect. So definitely pick this up if you love such an addictive, steamy romance, age gap, workplace, all my favorite tropes. The next book I'm going to pick up is The Tenant by Frida McFadden, and I have been wanting to read this one since it came out on May 6th. It is 368 pages, and it is basically about a guy, Blake, who is riding high, then falls miserably and realizes that he needs to find a roommate to live with him and his fiance so he can rent out a room and collect some extra income. And then herein comes Whitney. She's beautiful, seems like she has it all together, and then slowly weird things keep happening and weird smells are appearing. I don't really want to dig deep into this description. I kind of want to go in blind, but I'm so ready and I can't wait to read Death Row. It's one of the short stories that came out for Amazon First Reads for May, and I want to read that after this. So I will be back when I am finished. I just finished The Tenant by Frida McFadden, and this was a wild ride. So basically it follows I guess, newly engaged couple in their 30s. Blake, the male main character, was living large at his job. He just got promoted to vice president, and then suddenly he's only on day, he's very new to the job. I think he's only been doing it for like a week. His boss calls him in and tells him that he is fired. He cannot believe he did what he did. He sold, a company profile. And Blake is like, "What are you talking about? I did not sell anything." Anyway, he gets fired. So now he has this luxurious brownstone that he bought for his fiance, Krista, and himself. And now he has no idea how he's going to pay for it. So they brainstorm that they are going to get a roommate to help pay a little bit of the rent. Krista is, I think, a manager at a dry cleaners, so she contributes a little bit, but it was really Blake's VP income that was sustaining their household. So they go through a bunch of interviews with people. There are so many whack jobs. It was so funny because I used to go to New York City a ton, and all of these characters just seem so spot on for New York City. And they finally land on someone, Whitney, and it seems like too good to be true. She looks normal, she's acting normal. Why was she suddenly kicked out of her apartment? There has to be something wrong. So as the dynamic goes on, Blake notices he offered for Whitney to use some of his stuff. You haven't gone to the store yet? Sure, you can use some of my shampoo, conditioner. You can eat some of my cereal. You can have an apple. And then slowly he notices all of his things are empty. He has no shampoo, conditioner, no body wash. His Frosted Flakes, God forbid, are empty. There's fruit flies everywhere. There's strange smells. And he starts to slowly go into this paranoia, thinking that Whitney has it out for him. And he develops hives and just so many legitimate things where if I was Blake, I would honestly be thinking the same exact thing. So, but you can see how he spirals. Krista can also see that he's spiraling. So she moves out And now he is left just flabbergasted because he loves Krista. He doesn't want to lose her. And it is just so wild. This story is so wild. You think you know everything, and then you get to part 2 of the book, and then you're like, huh, okay. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I rated it 3 stars, and there was 1 spice. I should have led with that. But it was so twisty, and I mean, I just literally did not see any of this coming. And it's always amazing to me that Frida McFadden can do this, because she has written so many books. I have no idea how she can still stump me. I mean, I figured it was going to be something out of the box that was going to happen, like something really crazy, and it definitely was, but I did not guess what it was going to be. Krista and her best friend Becky in this book, they do not like Scorpios. I don't know if that's somehow tied into the story at all, but it was brought up maybe like 2 or 3 times about, oh, Blake must be a Scorpio. And I don't know if that had any significance at all in the story. I didn't really pick this up. Oh, what I did forget is that when they're doing the interviews for the roommates, there is a woman who comes in who has like psychic abilities. I guess she was wearing like a tinfoil cap. She had like 4 robes on. She was totally out there, but she had this like premonition when she touched Krista's hand that something bad was going to happen. And then that kind of planted the seed for like Krista and Blake, for Blake to like back himself up and be like, I've never wanted to like hurt anyone. What are you talking about? And for Krista, she's like, oh man, could this man that I am like engaged to hurt somebody? So that was like the first seed that was planted. And then it is, honest to God, just a wild ride from there. The next book that I am going to pick up, and the last book for this video, is going to be Dark Fae by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. This is the first book in the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series. So this series, there's 5 books in it, is supposed to happen before Zodiac Academy happens. So I'm going to finally, I think every single video that I've done, I've said I was going to pick this book up, but I am going to pick it up and read it just to see. This is like a not a why choose, it's like a reverse harem type of book, and I'm not really into those type of books, but it has a 4.10 rating on Goodreads, and it has over 78K ratings. So it has to be good. I'm sure there's a better subplot than just this one woman doing things with a bunch of guys. So I'm going to give it a chance. I at least deserve that. And it is, what's wild is I thought that these books were kind of going to be maybe like 200 or 300 pages, but they're not. They're all like 500 plus pages. And this one specifically is 536 pages on Kindle. And I'm obviously reading this on Kindle Unlimited, and I think all of their books in like the Zodiac Academy, like Mechaverse, whatever they're called, Omniverse, I don't know what it is. I think it's all on Kindle Unlimited. So this book description says, what do a heartless dragon shifter, a cold-blooded basilisk, an arrogant lion shifter, and a brooding tattooed harpy have in common? Me. Elise Callisto, vampire, angel of vengeance, and a girl on a mission to destroy one of them for murdering my brother. I just don't know which one did it yet. Okay, this is a reverse harem series set in the world of Zodiac Academy 4 years before the Vega twins were awakened. Expect some character crossover, dark and hot romance, in a twisted murder mystery which will leave your head spinning. Okay, so it's 4 years before the Vega twins and the Zodiac Academy series. So I am going to read this and I will be back whenever I have an update. I thought I recorded this already, but as I'm editing my video, I realized that I guess I didn't. And this is my review of Dark Fae by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. Okay, so Elise is trying to find retribution or figure out what happened to her brother Gareth. Gareth is her best friend, her older brother, and they only had really each other. So he went to Aurora Academy, which is kind of like a lower level than Zodiac Academy. And he ended up, they suspect that it was an OD from Killblaze, which is their like type of drug that they have. But the sister doesn't believe it. He never did anything like that. He wouldn't leave her. He wouldn't lie to her. So now she goes in, hacks into like the computer system and takes her brother's scholarship since he's no longer using it. And now she is going to Aurora Academy to try and figure out what happened to her brother. Now, the thing is, before she went into Aurora Academy, she had an encounter with someone and they told her that it had to do with the kings. So she goes to Aurora Academy to find these kings and try and see if she can piece together what happened to her brother and find justice for Gareth. Well, she goes to Aurora Academy. There are 4 kings and they are all completely different from one another. So we have Leon, who can shapeshift into a lion. He's one of the kings. Gabriel, who is a harpy, and he's the most powerful at the school because he has 2 elements that were awakened and everyone else just has 1. Dante, the dragon shifter, and he's the leader of the Oscura gang. And then there's Ryder, who is a basilisk, who is the leader of the Brotherhood, the Lunar Brotherhood gang. So Dante and Ryder do not like each other. They have a long family history of hate. They're both in different gangs, and that gang has somehow trickled into Aurora Academy to where they can't even go into the cafeteria at the same time. One gang has it from this time to this time. The other one has it from that time to that time, and they do not mix past. They don't even cross the common area. They each sit on one side in their bleachers and just like stare at each other. So of course in comes Elise, and all these 4 kings want to be with her. Each one of these 4 kings thinks that they are the best in their own certain way. And of course Dante and Ryder, they are from opposing sides. They want to see who can get Elise as their woman, whether if they genuinely like her or it is just their feud and or if it's just another part of their feud that they can fight over. So this is a reverse harem, but let me just say, I rated this 2 on the spicy scale. I rated it 3.5 stars and 2 on the spicy scale. It was not reverse harem that I thought. Maybe it's because these kids are like in an academy type of setting. They're still relatively young, but it's not what I thought, as this was my first reverse harem book and it really wasn't bad. I feel like the first Zodiac Academy book was worse than this. Like the characters in Zodiac Academy, the 4 main ones, they are worse so far than the 4 kings in this book. And they all want to be with Elise, but like I said, there's only 2 of them that seem that they could be genuine, and the other 2 seem like, yeah, they probably like her, but it's more of, you know, who can win the girl, and then whoever wins the girl, that gang must be the best. So she does like dabble in with all of them, but it's not how you think. Like she's all these lovesick guys over her and they're gonna go into like peril and fall into an abyss when she doesn't pick them. No, all these guys, none of them are looking for a relationship, but they all want something from Elise. And Elise is willing to give it if she can try and find answers to what happened to her brother. All of the kings also had a relationship with Gareth. It's not really explained in depth how far, but Leon was his roommate and they were kind of like best friends, but each one of the other kings also had interactions with him and liked him. So it gets tricky because Elise has not told anyone that Gareth was her brother, or she is there to try and figure out what happened to Gareth. I would say read this if, first off, you love books that end on a cliffhanger, because it does end on a cliffhanger. This whole series, these 5 books are already out, but every single book, this was the shortest book, under 500 pages, but books 2 through 5, they're all between 500 and 600 pages. So this is not a quick like novella intermittent series that you can like binge. These are full-blown chunky books. There are a bunch of assholes in this book. Like, if that is what you like, then pick this book up and don't look any further. And there's a mysterious plot. We're trying to figure out what happened to Gareth. And I would say if you like reverse harem, but it's honestly, this book is not, it just reminds me of like young adults exploring like campus life kind of deal. No one's exclusive. The other kings, I don't think that she's intertwined with all the 4 kings. So they may think that she like kissed someone else or she did something else, but they're all trying to be territorial of her and claim her first to like claim victory. And Elise just ain't having it. So I enjoyed it. I am going to continue on with this series, but that was pretty much it. And sorry for this like random clip thrown in. I must have deleted it, myself. So yeah. So now I will recap the 3 books that I read in this video. The first is Charmed and Alarmed by Cleo White. I rated this 4 stars and 5 for spice. Loved this series. The second book is The Tenant by Frida McFadden. I rated this 3 stars and 1 for spice. And the last book I read was Dark Fae by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. I rated it 3.5 stars and 2 for spice. As always, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch my video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.